Hello, chosen one. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like God isn't listening, like your prayers and struggles are met with nothing but silence? It's a feeling many of us know all too well. But here's the truth. Silence doesn't mean he's absent. In this video, we'll dive into 5 undeniable signs that God is silently working in your life right now. You'll discover how moments like closed doors, a deep sense of peace, or even delays in your prayers can be powerful messages of His presence and purpose. By the end of this video, you'll have a new perspective on how to recognize God's hand in your journey, even in the quietest seasons. So stay with me as we uncover these signs together. Let's get started. Why God works in silence. Have you ever felt like your prayers echo back in silence? Like the heavens have closed, leaving you questioning if God is truly listening? Let me tell you something profound. Silence is not absence, it's preparation. God works in ways that transcend human understanding, and often His greatest works begin in the stillness. Think of the quiet before a storm or the pause before a masterpiece is unveiled. That silence is God crafting something extraordinary in your life. When nothing seems to move, it's not a sign of inaction. It's a signal that He's aligning every piece, every person, and every moment to fit perfectly into His divine purpose for you. The silence refines you. In those quiet moments when answers seem distant, He's sharpening your faith. Silence creates space for trust, and trust is the foundation of your relationship with God. He doesn't need to announce His every move because His presence, even when unseen, is constant. Remember, God's silence is His workshop. It's where He molds your character and strengthens your resolve, preparing you for the weight of the blessings you're destined to carry. Look at the story of Joseph in the Bible, thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, imprisoned unjustly. Throughout it all, God seemed silent. But that silence wasn't abandonment, it was strategy. Every trial Joseph faced was part of a divine setup for his eventual rise to power. And just like Joseph, your silent seasons are not wasted. They are investments in the person God is shaping you to be. Silence demands your patience, and patience is a rare virtue. It's uncomfortable, it's humbling, and it challenges every fiber of your being. But when you embrace it, you begin to see the subtle ways God communicates. The closed doors, the inner stirrings, the unexpected delays, they're all whispers from Him saying, "Wait, I'm not finished yet." And here's what's remarkable. Silence doesn't last forever. When the time is right, God's voice will roar through your circumstances, making everything clear. But first, you must learn to trust the quiet. So now the question is, what are those signs that God is at work in your life, even in silence? Let's uncover the first one. Sign 1. A door closes unexpectedly. When a door slams shut in your face, it can feel like rejection, failure, or even punishment. It stings. You may think, why is this happening to me? But here's what you need to realize. A closed door is not the end. It's a redirection. Every closed door carries a message. It's God stepping in, saying, "Not this way, I have something better." When you try to force something that isn't aligned with His plan, He intervenes, sometimes abruptly, to protect you from what you can't yet see. This isn't a punishment, it's a divine safeguard. Have you ever pursued an opportunity, a relationship, or a goal with everything you had, only to watch it fall apart? The frustration can be overwhelming. But hindsight reveals a truth. That thing you wanted so badly wasn't right for you. Maybe it was too small for your potential, or maybe it would have delayed you from stepping into your true purpose. God's plan is always bigger than the one you envision for yourself. Closed doors are proof of that. They prevent you from settling for less than what you deserve. When one shuts, it's not an invitation to quit. It's a challenge to trust. He's asking, will you believe that I'm preparing something greater for you? The pain of a closed door is temporary. What lasts is the strength you gain from enduring it and the clarity you develop in its aftermath. You start to notice that, although the door closed, other opportunities quietly began to appear, ones that align perfectly with where you're meant to go. Here's what truly matters: how you handle that closed door. You can choose to stay stuck in frustration, or you can see it as a chance to trust the process and move forward. Remember, a delay doesn't mean denial. It's simply a new direction. And now that you've faced the closed door, you might wonder, what's next? What other signs could be revealing God's silent work in your life? Let's move forward and uncover another. Sign 2, a sensation of inner restlessness. Have you ever felt an unshakable unease, like something in your life isn't quite right? It's not fear or doubt, it's deeper. It's the whisper of your soul telling you that where you are no longer aligns with where you need to be. This inner restlessness isn't random. It's a signal that God is stirring something within you. Inner restlessness often shows up when you've outgrown a situation, a mindset, or even a dream. It's not easy to face because it challenges what you know and asks you to step into the unknown. Stagnation is the enemy of purpose. That discomfort you feel, it's the beginning of transformation. The challenge is to recognize this restlessness for what it is, a divine nudge, and not confuse it with frustration or failure. Many times people ignore it, convincing themselves that it's better to stay where they are. They cling to what feels safe, even when their soul is crying out for change, but ignoring it only prolongs the process. What's remarkable is how this restlessness often comes with subtle confirmations. You may feel drawn to new opportunities, ideas, or people that align with where God wants to take you. It's like a compass, silently pointing you toward your next step. Pay attention to the quiet urges to explore, learn, or step away from something that no longer serves you. They're not coincidences, they're guidance. And here's the promise: restlessness is temporary. It only lasts as long as you resist the changes it's calling you to make. When you lean into it, you'll discover clarity and peace, knowing that you're moving closer to the purpose God has set for your life. So if inner restlessness is a push, what happens when answers seem delayed? Let's uncover the next sign. Sign 3, a delayed answer to your prayers. You've prayed, waited, and hoped, but nothing seems to happen. The silence feels deafening, and doubt starts to creep in. Did God forget me? Is He even listening? This waiting period can feel like a test of your faith, but in reality, it's an essential part of God's process. Think of it like planting a seed. Once the seed is buried in the soil, nothing seems to happen on the surface. Days, weeks, or even months pass with no visible growth, but underneath, the seed is transforming. Roots are forming, and life is beginning to take shape. The same happens with your prayers. What feels like inactivity is actually preparation. God is working beneath the surface, aligning circumstances, strengthening your spirit, and setting the stage for something far greater than you imagined. A delayed answer isn't denial, it's timing. God sees the full picture of your life in ways you can't. What you're asking for may be good, but if it comes too soon or in the wrong way, it could harm you or limit your potential. The waiting period ensures that when the answer arrives, you're ready to receive it fully. However, waiting is not passive. It's in this season that God does some of His deepest work in you. He's teaching patience, building resilience, and refining your faith. The waiting challenges you to trust Him, even when the evidence is invisible. And as difficult as it feels, this period often becomes the foundation of your strongest testimony. Many people give up right before their breakthrough, mistaking the delay for defeat. Don't let that be you. Instead of focusing on what hasn't happened yet, pay attention to the quiet ways God is preparing you. The unexpected encouragement from a friend, the opportunities to grow in areas you didn't expect, and even the strength you find to keep going. These are all signs that He's at work. So if you feel stuck in the waiting, don't lose hope. The seed you planted with your prayers is growing, even if you can't see it yet. And as we move forward, let's explore another way God reveals his work in your life. Sign 4. People enter or exit your life unexpectedly. Relationships shape our lives. Sometimes they bring joy and growth, other times they bring pain or confusion. But one thing is certain, the people who come and go in your life are not random. When someone unexpectedly enters or exits, it's often a sign that God is redirecting your path. Imagine your life as a book, with each chapter representing a season. Some characters stay throughout the entire story, while others only appear in specific chapters. When God removes someone from your life, it may feel like a loss, but it's often his way of closing a chapter that no longer serves your purpose. Likewise, when new people appear, it's because they're meant to contribute to the next phase of your journey. Think back to a time when someone walked away or a relationship ended abruptly. In the moment, it probably felt like rejection or even betrayal. But as time passed, you likely realized that their presence was no longer aligned with where you were going. God sees what you cannot. He removes people who might hold you back or lead you astray, even when you don't understand it at the time. On the other hand, think about the people who have entered your life when you needed them most. Maybe it was a mentor, a friend, or even a stranger whose words or actions gave you the strength to keep going. These encounters are not coincidences. They are divinely orchestrated. God places people in your path as guides, encouragers, or helpers to carry you through the challenges ahead. What's important is recognizing these changes for what they are: divine intervention. When someone leaves, don't cling to the past. Instead, thank God for the role they played and trust that their exit makes room for the people who are meant to walk with you into the future. And when someone new enters, be open to the possibility that they are an answer to a prayer you may not even remember praying. So, how do you know when a shift in relationships is truly God's work? Pay attention to the timing, the lessons you're learning, and the direction your life begins to take. And as we explore the final sign, we'll uncover something even deeper, an unmistakable sense of peace that defies understanding. Sign 5, a sense of unshakable peace amid chaos. Life is unpredictable. Storms come without warning, leaving us scrambling for control, searching for answers and grasping for stability. But amidst the chaos, there's a peace that feels almost out of place, a calm that defies logic. When you experience this unshakable peace, know this: it's a sign that God is actively working in your life. Imagine standing in the eye of a hurricane. The winds rage all around you, but where you are, it's still and quiet. That's what God's peace feels like. It doesn't mean the problems have vanished or the pain is gone. It means you've been anchored in something greater than the storm. This peace is different from the fleeting relief the world offers. It's not the kind of comfort that comes from external solutions, like fixing a problem or escaping a tough situation. It's a deep assurance, rooted in faith, that no matter what happens, God is in control. This peace says, you don't need to have all the answers, because God already does. You may have felt this peace in moments when you least expected it, when everything seemed to be falling apart, but you found the strength to take one more step. That's God holding you steady, reminding you that He's present. This peace is His promise that He's working, even when you can't see it. It's important to recognize that this peace isn't about denying reality or pretending things are fine. Instead, it's about seeing reality through the lens of faith. You acknowledge the storm, but you choose to trust the one who calms it. And here's the most beautiful part. This peace often comes when you surrender. The moment you stop striving to control everything and place your trust fully in God, you'll feel that calm settle over your heart. Pay attention to this peace, because it's a gift and a guide. It's a sign that God is not only with you, but ahead of you, clearing the way and preparing you for what's next. So as we bring these signs together, one truth becomes clear. God is always at work, even in the silence, the waiting, the restlessness, and the storms. Now it's time to reflect. What signs is He showing you today?